I have learned how to be patient, with my family, with those around me, and also colleagues and coworkers. It's an interesting time, and we have to be patient with each other. And being patient isn't just waiting and appreciating the point of view of someone else, but it's also really being patient with the circumstances, understanding that the situation is changing daily, and remaining flexible enough to adapt daily if necessary, but also remaining flexible enough to put my own predispositions and my own opinions aside and really understand the overall view and the overall circumstance of someone else. So for example, my wife and I are working from home together. And the little things like being on conference calls at the same time and being patient with each other as one of us needs to watch our son while the other's working and vice versa. That type of mentality and that type of work takes time and it takes patience. And so the biggest lesson that I've learned is being patient and learning how to roll with the punches, roll with the uncertainty, and be flexible. So professionally, I have learned that prioritization and focus are absolutely necessary to make it through this time. It's easy to work 24 hours a day. It's easy to wake up, do your morning routine, take your son or daughter through their morning routine, and then go right into work, and then not stop to take lunch, not stop to have any time with the family, pause, have dinner, and then go back to work, and then get a couple hours sleep and do it all over again. Because when we go to the office or when we're working outside of our homes, there's this line of separation, right? So there's that line of separation between when I leave the office and when I get home. When I get home, my brain is turned off, or really it's switched to that of my home life matters, to that of my son and my wife. But when you're working from home under these circumstances, you can't turn it off that easily. And so we have to make a conscious decision on how we focus our time, what we spend our time on, and what we prioritize in our lives. So the biggest professional learning that I have realized is that although we hear focus and time management and it's your choice and all these things that we hear from different people, it's absolutely necessary. It's absolutely necessary to focus our time, to spend time managing what we're working on and what we're focusing on, and really to take that time of separation, but also to take that time of celebration. Last year, I joined Immunotec as its chief operating officer. And this year, I was given the opportunity to replace our former CFO and the job that he did to really reposition finance and bring it into pace with our global growth. And in doing that, we've put together new policies, new procedures. We've put together new teams, new focus areas. We've streamlined our reporting. And so my role is really to keep all of that together as the new CFO of Immunotec, that's Chief Financial Officer. Title aside, what I really do for the company is make sure that we have met all of our financial obligations, both planning, strategy, forecasting, payments, as well as making sure that we have an opportunity that's protected for our consultants via compliance and risk management, to make sure that we're paying commissions on time and accurately via commissions, to make sure that we have the right systems and processes in place via IT and via our web development team, as well as our user experience teams. And then I also have the fortunate responsibility to work with other areas of the company in integrating all of our finance activities to bring a broader view of what Immunotec is doing currently, but where we're going from a growth standpoint and positioning the resources for that growth. So you asked about what of the 3 to 5 strategies that I would implement in the area post-COVID. So the first and foremost is we need to make sure that we have the right members on the team in the right spots with the right amount of resources. And resources aren't just people, but they're also capital, they're also systems, they're also the right vendors and partners. So making sure that we have the right group of people in being resources, internal team, vendors, and partners to help us scale for growth, but also to help us focus on what's important. Focusing on what's important means saying no. It means saying no to all of the different ideas after we hear them out and after we evaluate them, so that we are utilizing the resources that we have in the right way to accommodate our growth, but also to make sure that we have the right company, the right culture, and the right opportunity to change lives in the field and to change the lives of our customers and consultants. So that would be the first one, having the right people and the right team in place with the right resources. And I believe we have that. It's not just channeling the resources to accommodate that growth. The second thing that I would do is, from a project standpoint, really to drill into what projects are we working on and what projects should we be working on. Part of that is prioritization, and part of that is understanding that we can't do everything all at once, nor can we not do everything that we want to do because we're constrained by market conditions. We're constrained by global economic conditions. We're constrained by public health conditions, all as a result of COVID. So understanding where our priorities are, where we want to go strategically, making changes to those priorities if necessary in response to public health and economic and market concerns, and then positioning our projects in relation to those priorities. And then finally, I would make sure that we have the right tools. Having the right tools is absolutely important, especially when people are working from home. It's one thing to be able to walk down the hall and speak with a colleague or interact with a colleague. It's a whole other thing to have to do a video conference or pick up the telephone and work through a problem. And our default setting in society in general is email and text messages. And email and text messages are great for information, but they're not great for problem solving. And tools are great for problem solving. So having the right tools and the right technology for us to be able to attack the problem or to attack a project or to undertake an initiative in an efficient way. So those would be the 3 things that I would implement. Right resources, meaning the right team in the right spot, engaging in personal and professional growth with our team and checking in on our teams and making sure that they're growing and have what they need to do their job. Second is aligning our projects with our priorities, understanding that priorities may change in response to global conditions. And then finally, having the right tools to support our staff and our customers and our consultants with the ability to, in their ability to do their job remotely. And that goes to the final, which is culture. Culture is very important, and you may have heard this before, but culture eats strategy for breakfast. And in a time when we are at home, and a time when we feel somewhat isolated, or when we're having to homeschool our children, or having to juggle schedules with our spouses, where one spouse is watching a child while the other's on a conference call and vice versa. Checking in on each other is absolutely important. And so I would advise anybody in a condition like this that's constantly changing, to continually to check in on each other, to see how each other are doing. That goes miles. And it also builds those connections that are absolutely important for problem solving. So above anything else, I would put a strategy in place so that we can check on each other, so that we can support one another, and so that we can build those solid relationships that go to building a solid culture, which then goes to executing on the strategy to build our company to the best in this industry.